Hello. Hello, beautiful people. All right, so first things first, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to my channel, where every Wednesday and Friday we talk about the history of New Orleans while we do makeup. It's sometimes spooky, sometimes crazy, sometimes haunted, sometimes dark, sometimes twisted, sometimes just what the actual heck, and then sometimes it's just freaking weird. And then on Saturdays we have skincare Saturdays, where we focus on skincare and occasionally hair care, but 99% of the time it's skincare. So if any of that interests you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And today we're going to be talking about a Madam of Storyville. If you do not know what a madam is, it is a female pimp, basically. Hey, women can be pimps too. We are going to be doing the look that you see on my face now. And yeah, y'all have no idea how much I truly enjoy my base makeup. There are no words. But yeah, okay. So, also, if you are wondering, if you have been here and you're not new here, if you're new here, I wear bows quite a bit. And it's just my thing. I like bows. And a subscriber told me I should get more bows, so I bought more bows. So I wear a lot of bows. But I just washed my hair and I'm letting it air dry, so I'm trying not to put it up or do anything too crazy with it. That's why I don't have a bow on. In fact, I have a headband on, which is giving me a really bad headache, actually. Because tonight is my 8-year wedding anniversary with my husband. 8 years. Wow. I don't know how I tolerate him. I'm kidding. I love my husband very much. Alright guys, y'all enjoy the video. Alright, so while I'm getting everything set up in front of me, which I should have done before I started, but you know, I feel it. So as I'm getting everything set up, we're going to be talking about Kate Townsend. We are also going to be using the Ciate London Velvet palette. Going for a pretty romantical look today, guys. So, Kate Townsend was actually born Katherine Cunningham in 1839 in Liverpool, England. That's right, guys. While the story does take place in New Orleans, it doesn't originate in New Orleans. Anyway, so Kate didn't live like the simplest life. So when she was 15, she became a barmaid in Liverpool on Paradise Street, where she met a sailor by the name of Peter Cunningham. Okay, and the way she met him is actually really interesting. So they actually met because she broke up a bar fight that he was in and saved his life. And they did their thing, you know, got romantically involved. And Katherine got pregnant with twins. Oh, the luck she has. And so she gets pregnant with twins. He dips. Like, no joke, he dips. He sets sail and he's off before the twins are born, leaving this child basically to fend for herself with twins. And so Kate gives birth. Peter's nowhere to be found. What a lovely father. And Katherine's like, you know what, screw this, I'm not doing this. She abandons her twins and she dips. So responsible human beings, guys. And she doesn't just dip. She, like, it's not like she just abandoned the twins and went to a different part of, like, England. No. That would be too simple. She abandons the twins and hops on a boat and sets sail to America. Brings all her drama over here. And the boat arrives in New York. Have y'all noticed that's a trend? Like, all the boats from England arrive in New York. I wonder why that is. Anyway, so she arrives in New York and stays there for a few weeks, you know. Lives her best life in New York. Nothing wrong with that. And then, after a few weeks, she comes to New Orleans. And this is where our story begins. So, it's early 1857. Katherine has changed her name from Katherine Cunningham to Kate Townsend. She's 18. She's gorgeous. She has a rockin' body. And she starts working. Where do you think she starts working, guys? She starts working in a brothel. And she becomes a resident at this Carol Fisher's, Clara. She becomes a resident at this Clara Fisher's brothel on Ciate Street. And she stays there for 6 months. So, you know, she's pretty. She knows she's pretty. She's using her looks. And, you know, making them money. And 6 months passed. And she's like, you know what? I can do better than your brothel, Clara. I'm gonna go to Maggie Thompson's brothel. She has a nicer brothel over on Custom House, which is now Iberville. Again, on the map. Okay. Anyway, so she then just picks her stuff up and moves to Maggie Thompson's on Custom House Street, which is now Iberville Street. So this story is taking place in Storyville. If you have not caught the drift, if you don't know if you don't know about New Orleans, we break our neighborhoods down. Like, I live in the Garden District. There's the 9th Ward, the 7th Ward. There's like the wards are like neighborhoods basically, and then there's the Marigny, the Irish Channel, the Bywater. So many, but this particular story takes place in Storyville. She's working, she's doing her thing, getting some regulars. And in 1863, she says, screw Maggie Thompson's place. I can make better money on my own. And she goes and rents her own place. Takes all her regulars with her too. And as she's renting her own place, she is making, and I mean, when you think about it, it probably wasn't the worst idea in the world, because, I mean, she probably had to pay rent. I'm assuming, I don't know, I've never worked on a brothel, you know what I'm saying. But I'm assuming she had to pay rent, or at least pay a fee, or taxes, or whatever. Like, so she says, screw it, I don't want to pay you crap. I want to live my best life, make my money, and not have to give you my money. So, like, I guess brothels are kind of like pimps, where you just get a cut of what you... I don't know. I'm just guessing here, guys. And while she is running her own place that she's rented, she starts making pretty good money and makes a few influential customers along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like politicians and stuff. And business is good. Let's say that. Business is good. And she ends up purchasing 121 Basin Street, where she then built a 3-story brothel. That's a lot of brothel. Now, this stunning building that she built was I'm talking like, y'all, she spared no expense. We're talking like marble fireplaces. Like, all the rooms had these stunning accents, statues. The best of the best, okay? Like, the best of the freaking best. And now keep in mind, y'all, this is like the 1800s, mid to late 1800s. Now, as we recall from Minnie, $3 million in the 1800s, or the 1900s, is worth $50 million now. So, do the math on $100,000, because that's how it cost her over $100,000 to build this stunning house. And she's doing her thing. She's living her best life. She's making that dough. When in 1878, I mean, she's still making money. Don't get me wrong. She's still making money. But things are about to take a turn for Miss Townsend, because she meets a Travell Sykes. Now, Sykes is from a nice family. His dad is a merchant and an auctioneer. I don't know what a fancy man is. Let's Google it real quick. I think I'm gonna be traumatized. I was right. Damn, I was really hoping I was wrong. Okay, so her fancy man is this Sykes person. She lets him move in. Google fancy man. I'm not saying what it is. I'll say it. Okay, so a fancy man, like, he was basically her, he was her lover. So she lets him move in, and he is in the smaller room on the second floor, and he's like living there for like 5 years. He's her fancy man for 25 years. Y'all, that's a long time to have a special lover. So her and Sykes are doing fine. No real issues. And then Kate meets a gentleman that goes by the name of McLearn. Okay? And McLearn would come by Kate's house and borrow money. Sykes didn't like that too much. Now, not only are you stepping on Sykes' whole thing here, like, that's his sugar mama, okay? That is his sugar mama. He is her lover boy. I really can't get over that's what a fancy man is. And when he would speak out about not liking McLearn, both Kate and McLearn would beat him. Like, beat him. Okay, I'm not talking like she would slap him and be like, mind your business, shut up. They would beat him for him looking out for Kate. Like, yeah, I'm sure there was some jealousy there, because like McLearn's over here stepping in on his woman, but I'm sure Sykes had decent motives. To make myself feel better, I'm gonna say he does. Anyway, so they would beat him if he like spoke out, saying like, no, I don't trust him, or whatever. Now, Kate had a friend, her name was Mary Buckley. She had another name, it was Molly something, but her real name's Mary Buckley. And one night, Kate and Mary are in the kitchen. Now, they're in the kitchen, and Kate is holding a knife, and she looks at Mary while she's holding this knife and says, I want to open Sykes' belly. Now, I personally don't understand how you can have a lover that obviously cares for you at some point. Like, I don't know if I'm sure his motives were not only greedy and jealousy, but I'm sure he actually cared about her, because he's her fancy man for 25 years. Like, there's got to be some emotion there. Has to be. And I don't know if Kate was feeling some type of way high or she was drinking, but Mary was able to talk her out of it. Now, later, Mary finds Kate on the stairs looking for Sykes and says that she's holding a butcher knife. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Mary's problem is. Like, she cray. Or Kate's problem. She cray. Like, she cray. But she's holding a butcher knife and she's like looking for Sykes. She's like, well, I'll kill him yet. Okay, so are you really this mad at this man for speaking out? I can't imagine being that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've said things. I've never actually, like, walked around with a knife threatening to kill someone. Just throwing that out there. And now, it's early November, and Kate, Mary McLaren, and some unknown gentleman caller. Maybe he's, like, I don't know if Mary was part of the brothel or not, but they're all on Canal Street and they're getting tipsy. McLaren and Kate get into it. What they get into it over, I'm not 100% sure, but they get into it. And Mary gets back to the house and warns Sykes. She's like, hide, lock yourself in your room, barricade yourself in your room, because, like, I'm sure that when little Miss Kate got tipsy, she started feeling some type of way. And Mary's over here trying to be a good person, dying because Kate's insane. So Kate comes home looking for Sykes. Sykes is barricaded in his room. Kate gives up and says, screw it, I'm going to bed. Okay? I'm going to do my eyeliner off camera and we'll be right back. November 4th, 1883. The Times-Picayune reports the following. Carved to death. Terrible fate of Kate Townsend at hands of Travell Sykes with the instrumentality of a Bowie knife, her breast and shoulders literally covered with stabs. So, Kate had 11 stab wounds, 3 of which were fatal. Yeah, we're gonna put this on and then we'll be back. Now, Sykes makes a claim that Kate attacked him on November 3rd with pruning shears. You know those things you cut rose bushes with? Well, Sykes makes a claim that she attacked him in her room with pruning shears. So naturally, he took the pruning shears and stabbed her in self-defense. Like, he took them from her, and it was self-defense. Now, I guess with the help of Mary's testimony and whatnot, Sykes ends up going to trial and getting acquitted. But so we all know Mary went like kind of cuckoo. Well, she had drawn up her will in 1873. Now, since he was acquitted of murder, the courts thought it was fair that, and I mean, he technically had nothing to his name. So he had no way to pay the court fees. He had no way to pay the lawyers and all of that. And then technically, when Kate had drawn her will in 1873, she had left Sykes everything. But, and I mean everything. And the courts thought it was fair to say, hey, you know what? You get 1/10 of the estate. Because, I mean, he couldn't pay. And it was drug on for so freaking long. And then, like, he had to pay, like, lawyers that were helping with the will and everything like that. So he, like, legit couldn't afford the property, let alone afford to get his butt out of debt. So out of Kate's $82,000 that she was worth, according to her will, Sykes got $34. Not $34,000. 34.00. And he couldn't afford to keep the brothel, obviously, so it was given to the state. State leased it out to Mary, nonetheless. Starting to wonder if maybe she orchestrated this whole event, guys. And Mary leased it out until her death in 1889. Now, as we know, Kate really came from nothing. Or should we call her Katherine? Kate, Katherine, whatever. Same person, different name. Like, this girl literally came from nothing. So naturally, she had to go out in style. So her funeral, she went out in style. So she was buried in a solid white $600 dress. The funeral itself, silk everywhere. Silk covering the chairs. White. It was all white and silk. Okay. She had a $400 metallic casket with a cross on the side. It was like, it wasn't engraved, but there was a cross etched. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. With a cross etched into the side. And then it had her name, the date she died, and her age engraved under the cross or around the cross. Now, you remember what I told you when Kate first got to New Orleans? She was a stunning 18-year-old with a banging body. When she died, Kate weighed over 300 pounds. Now, trust me, I'm not fat girl shaming. I'm not, because I'm a little chunky monkey over here. Ain't thick, I'm chunky. There's a difference. But, I mean, good for her, though, because that means she was living her best freaking life. But that just shows she got so comfortable and was surrounded by so many fine things that she didn't have to care. Wasn't that nice? But that is today's story of one of the madams of Storyville, of Miss Katherine Cunningham, aka Kate Thompson, from the 1800s, and her brothel at 121 Basin Street. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And I will see you tomorrow for Skincare Saturday. And then hopefully next week we have BoxyCharm. Alright, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.